again, and we're still on Framer. So we're making progress from where we stopped like the last time. And if you have not catch up or if you have any like issues, you could check like previous like classes and then just catch up and follow through basically. But here we'll be continuing today, and this is our agenda for today. So today we want to look at component versus variant versus variable. Although we discussed it last week, but I'll just like recap on it and then we'll move forward. Also look at nested interactions with component using states. So we'll look at the concept of like interactions and the nested interactions. And then we are going to do like framer fix. So we'll try to design something like just into Framer. And by that, we would look at interactions, like we'll look at interactions, and also we'll go like deeper into Framer, where we'll look at like other elements like overlay, ticker, slideshows, etc. And depending on how much time that we have, and then we'll look at our assignment for the week. So let's just get into Framer. So the first one is component versus. Okay, yeah. So this is on that page. Let's go back to where we were last week. All right, so we're looking at component versus variant versus variable. We discussed it in passing last week, but let's just go back to it and just explain using this button. So we discussed the concept of components, and we mentioned that a component is any reusable element, basically. So we mentioned things like navigation, footer, button, accordion, what else again? Many things that are component, basically. Anything that you use more than once, even cards can be like components. So that's the concept of components. So you can look at components as like a family. So a family is like a component. And in every family, there will be like unit members in the family. So there will be daddy, mother, children, and what have you. And so we can refer to those like children, for instance, in the family as variants. So for instance, you have a button now. This is primary button. And then I'm just recapping from last week. And then this is a secondary button. So the way you create it once again is that once you select like a particular like component, you would see like if you zoom out, let me just zoom out, sorry. When you zoom out, you see like another place where you can add like a different like variant. Like this button here will create like a different variant. But let me just undo. But yeah, that's how you create like a variant. So a variant is like a child of a component. That's what a variant is. And then the next concept is variable. So ideally, for instance, okay, let me just show so that we just understand what I'm saying. So for instance, let me just create a new, like let me detach this one and make it so you can detach instance the way you can do it on Figma. So let me detach this one. Okay, okay, so this is now like this is not yet a component. So to just create a component with Alt Command K, that's the shortcut. Or you can right click and say create component and call this one, let's say button test. So ideally, this is the component, and we can go back. So you will notice that in this component, you cannot exactly tweak anything. Like if you look at our sidebar here, you can't adjust anything. And that's where the concept of variable is important. So most times, because components are reusable elements, the normal rule of thumb is that even though they are reusable elements, they will not all be used in the same way at the same time. So for instance, when you have a button, our button will not always be get started. That's one. Also, this button will not, for instance, always be like the primary button. Or for instance, this button will not only be like this, like in all the pages. It may be get started here, learn more here, maybe sign up or something like that. So for you to really maximize components, you would have to create like variables. So variables is how that you can adjust different elements of a variant within a component. So just the way that you have like a child in a family. In every family, children or yeah, let's say like children or the children there, they usually have like unique components. So that's why child A is different from child B, different from child C. And then those differences or those things that make them unique is what you can call like the variables, like things that vary from one child to another in the same family. And I hope that it does make sense. So let me just go back to this component. And as I said, you can create a variable out of like different parameters. It's not just only text. So there are different types of variables. You can create a variable using like text. You can create using color. You can create using image, different parameters basically. And we would explore more on using like different variable parameter, probably when we are looking at CMS. So CMS is a way whereby you can actually see all these things come into like you get into play. But basically, we just create a text variable for this. So we'll come to our text. This place that has, you can see there's a plus. Anything that actually has like this plus means that you can actually create a variable out of it. So you can click on this content like this place here and say create variable, and we'll just use plain text. You would want to use formatted text, assuming you're working with like a blog. So we'll get to blog and then CMS later on. But if it's a place where you want dynamic content, whereby you want to make some part italics, you want to make some part maybe editing, like the way you have like all those editing text box inside of Medium, assuming you use Medium, or like all those your text editing tools where you can do different styles. That's why you want to use formatted text. But we'll just click to plain text because that's all we need. And we'll call it button, and then we would see that this is the default like text that is there, and would add like a text area. So a text area just allows you to be able to enter the text without manually tampering with the component. And this is good practice for use cases whereby you're working with a client and you don't want the client to be changing text on the live design, on the live website. That's why we have like, because we created like a text area, we can see where we are here. Instead of get started, if I change it to learn more, then automatically update. And this way is very, very smooth for clients if you don't want them to like tamper with like the main content here, basically. So that's like the concept of like variables, variants, and then components. I want to believe or assume that we would understand it. We can always come back to the video. I will have done more, but because of time and we're trying to cover like a whole lot. So that's like the first thing to look at. So as I said, there's components, there is variant, and then there's variable. And that thing to also look at is that in every variant, you can also have states. So if you're familiar with like, let's say UI design or yeah, product design, or in fact, if you go to any website, yeah, any website, you discover that there are some things that happen when you do some certain things, like interactions. So this is like looking at beginner level like interaction, and this is where like states come in. This is where like we can have like nested interactions using like components. So also, if you have done like some bit of product design, you know that there's some times when you want to reduce the amount of, let's say, screens or amount of interaction, or basically like screens or steps in a particular like process or a flow. One way to do that is actually to use like components that have been prototyped. So that's like the similar like concept here, basically. So in every component, you can actually have like states. So in this button, for instance, like this one that we just created, we can have like an overt state. So let's just click, and the way to do it is that underneath like this particular component, you can click on this plus to add like a new state. And then if you click on the plus by the right hand side, you can add a new variant. And there are two different things. Every variant can have its own state. Every component can have its own variant. So this is like how it works basically. So click on a new like variant. So let's just call this one overt. So let's say when we over this one, we want it to just something random. Let's allow it to rotate so you can just get the point. And let's turn this text to, let's say, red. So you see what we are saying. Let me turn it. Oh, red is not accessible. Okay, let me just leave it like this, basically just test. And then the way to see it play in action is that when I click on like play it, this particular one, can we see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, so let me just over on it. So you can see that I overed on it. It is adjusting because we already set like an overt effect. So this is how to like, this is like beginner level, like introduction to like interaction basically. And this is interaction using like components basically. And you can see that on over, it is like showing like this. So this is one way to look at like interactions. So let me just go back and on. That was very, very quirky. So let's go back. So let me delete this one. So you can have just the way you can have like click state, you can also have like pressed state. So this would work, for instance, with mobile basically, or even desktop, whereby, okay, let me just create it. So let's say on pressed, let's say it rotates like this. Just pardon me, this is just, we're just playing, we're just experimenting. When you play again and you take your keypad and you press it, we can see that it's, okay, I'm pressing it actually. And then it's just going like down basically. So that's pressed state. Also, you would notice that something is happening here. We can select the text in this button. There are cases whereby you want users to be able to like copy some text, but sometimes when it's buttons, you really don't want them to like copy like text in buttons. So that can also be tweaked. So let me just show us how we could do that. So in cases whereby you don't want them to be able to adjust like a particular text, you can click on the text and then there's a particular, okay, let me see which, let me find it. Let me see effect. Where is it? I'm coming. Let me find it. There's a particular property that you could actually add. Let me see. It's not accessibility. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. I'm coming. Some of all these things you also have to check. Is this style? Yes. Okay. Yeah. On that style, if you click on this user select, you can click on it and then where's style? Okay. Yes. For user select, you say none. So what that means is that when you play this particular prototype, they will not be able to select it. Can you see like it's not selectable because I just adjusted it whereby you can't select. So there are use cases whereby you don't want them to select like particular part, especially with like buttons or depending on what part of it it is. So that's like how to look at the concept of not allowing users to select. So the next thing let's just look at is the last time when we looked at this particular like screen, I was trying to explain to us that we could actually have like some micro interactions. This is using like components. And I was saying that when you're working with like desktop and then mobile, you would want to use like breadcrumbs basically. So I created that before the class and I'll just delete it and then should I delete or just explain? I don't know. I don't know if I have that much time. What do we think? Should I explain how I did it or should I just start from scratch? What do we want? I'm looking at the time, that's why. Can we hear me? Should I explain how I did this or should I recreate it like on this call now? What do we want?
Well,
Yes.
I don't know. You can explain, I guess.
Okay, any other
Because
person?
and I tried doing it, but
It didn't
you can
work.
explain.
All right. Any other?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just delete it so that we can just start from scratch, basically. So, first of all, delete this one. And then, so what I did was normally we have like the tablets. We had so the way I created all this one was using like different like variants within the component. So when I click on when I click on this plus, select this any one of them and click on plus. That's how you create like a particular like variant. Okay, fine. Let me just delete the one for mobile so that we just start from scratch. So let me let's go back. Let me delete this one. So basically, I'll try to run very fast. I'll try to explain too. So I created a new variant, so I'll name it and let's go through our layers. Name it and call it mobile. Okay, sorry, mobile. So the first thing you want to do is, as I said, you would want to hide this one. So under our layers, I'll just hide like this particular like right navigation. So I named it already. So I'll just hide it. That's the first thing. I would hide it. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to insert an icon. So under when you click on this insert, there are different things that you can actually insert, not just icon. You can add like different like template pages for sections, for navigation, for menu. But what I want to actually insert is icon. So I'll go to icon and then I'll just select this. There are different types: feather, hero, icon, material for Google. But I'll use phosphor icon because I'm used to it. So I'll just put it inside here. So what I want to do is let me see, it should be inside here. So first things first is I'll try to reduce the size. So let me just use 32. 32 up, 32 down. I'll put it inside the frame. So right click on it and add, sorry, not a frame, a stack actually. Add a stack. For our stack, I'll ensure that it is all content, like you fit the content inside it. Both yeah, fit content. And then I would have to change the icon. So the icon I'm looking for is lists. So we can either use, sorry, list is name of the icon, but we can see here there are two ways to find icons, either using like a list or using like a search. So this list just shows you like list of icons that you can change, like assuming you know their names, or you could actually search for the icon, assuming you know the icon. So I'll use icon, sorry, I'll use search and I'll type the icon. Name of the icon is list. So this is list, and then we change the color to white. Also, one of the perks of using this particular one is that if you have used some icon plugins in Figma, you can actually have like different state, like diffuse state, over state, like that. You can have them inside of, let's leave it at regular because this is a lined like icon, but you're assuming it was home now, you could change it to like different states if you wanted. So that's part of like the perks of using like some, instead of you to import the icon as SVG, it's better for you to use like the plugins inside of Frame and it makes your work very easy. The next thing is I want to reduce the width of this particular navigation. We know from what we discussed that for mobile, the breakpoint is usually from like 395 around that range. So let's just use like 395 or something. So that's like the what do you call it? the breakpoint, and also we have discussed breakpoint like earlier actually. So fit content. The next thing I want to do is we are done with the mobile like default state and this works, but we know that okay, let me see. Do we need to adjust the okay, yeah, let's adjust the padding. So we know that, as I said, we are mobile, so we are trying to save more space. Instead of 40, you can do like 24 left and 24 right. Just to oh sorry, that was so let me see what that right. That was not 24. Okay, 24 left, 24 right. So now I've created like a new like navigation for mobile. The next thing we want to do is okay, let me see. Is this 24? Let me see. It's 24 that was supposed to be. Okay, yes, 24. Okay, 24 left, 24 right. The next thing we want to do is we're going to create another variant. So normally you will have asked that, or somebody will have wondered that why don't we use like state for it? But this is not exactly like a state. This is more or less a new variant, like a new element, sorry, a new child in the same family. So some people, one way that you can do it that you may act, it may work, but that's not the smooth way to do it, and you may have issues later on. You may want to use like a variant and then say, okay, why not create a new variant for let's say over, and then when you over on this one, then you now see what you or a press state in that sense. It doesn't really work that way. Like you may achieve like the same result, but you have issues later on. I feel like if it's more complex, the best thing is for you to create like a new like variant basically. So create a new variant. First things first, we'll change this our icon to the closed state, like that one that is. So I'll just search for X, that's actually the icon. And then that's like the closed state. And then what I want to do is I'm going to add all this. Okay, so this one, let's make it to be all content, to fit content. Oh, okay, sorry. So let's put all of this into its own auto layout, like its own stack. So select this particular one that has the logo. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, this one that has the logo and then this particular icon. So we are going to put them into a new stack. So that's the shortcut is Alt Command and Enter, but you can right click and just say add stack. Alt is like I think that's control on sorry, that's option on PC. So we add like a stack, and then when we had the stack, let's make it to be fit content. Okay, and then also let's change the this should be left to right. I think that we're good to go. So that is like the first thing. And then now that we have like our oh, what's happening? This one is also sorry, sometimes you have like let's check what's happening. Um Sometimes you have issues, so just check, you see what the issue is. Switch it again. Okay, yeah, okay, we're good to go. Up it's now affecting another place. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is now that we have our content that we eat, we are going to show it now. So we are going to show, show, yeah, show. But what we are going to do is we are going to align it left. We are going to align, we are going to change direction first of all. Let me see. So that's the first one. We have changed direction from top to like bottom. So and what we're going to do is we are going to in this stack, we're going to make it fill the container. So fill, let me see what else again. This should also be fill okay, I can see. We'll distribute it to space between, and then we are going to turn this one to direction, change direction. We're going to fit content. Sorry that we're doing anything, so I hope that you're understanding. I'll change the gap to like let's say 24 or let's say 32. I'm using multiples of 4, 32. I'll also change the alignment to the left. And then I'll change all these ones to, I'll change them, change direction to top to bottom. I would also try to align to the left. Okay, change this one to align to this place. What I want to do is I'll increase all the font size to, I'll change it to, let's say like 24. And then I'll make this one to, okay, let's leave it like 14. Okay, let's make it like 14. And I'll change the color. Let's just make it to be white 80. Yeah, white 80. And I think that we are good to go. Oh, and also in case you're wondering why I'm deciding like all this is actually the website that we are trying to like we referenced initially. And if I try to bend my screen, let me just make it responsive. This is the way they do their navigation. Can you see? So that's why I've seen it before. So that's why I'm using like this particular like format. We are skipping all this. We're just focusing on like this navigation basically. So that's why I have the idea. It didn't come from like from space. There was a reference I was using in my head. So let's just go back to Framer. And then so here we are mostly done. And then we can just, okay, let me see. What else again? What else again? What else again? We can increase the space actually. So because, okay, first of all, let's add the interaction. So to add an interaction, select um the particular stack or the frame. Most times when you want to do interaction in Framer, interaction applies to, well, our time is actually running very fast. We have less than 10 minutes. Okay. So basically when you want to use like an interaction in Framer, interaction in Framer would not work sometimes or most times it will not work on individual elements. For instance, assuming you just do like a circle and you want to add an interaction to it, it's not going to work. Interaction applies to either frames or components or stacks. So frames or component or stacks. So in case you want to do an interaction, ensure that you are selecting like a particular frame or a component or a stack. If you just select like a random thing, it's not going to work. Like maybe a shape or something like that, it's not going to work. Or even an SVG, it's not going to work. Assuming you imported like an icon, even as a picture or as an SVG, you will not be able to add an interaction to it. It has to be inside of a frame, basically, or a stack. So I'll select this one and then I had like an interaction and say on click, it should open this one. And then the reverse interaction, when you close it, it should show this one back. So that's it basically. So we'll call this one, let's just name it mobile open, mobile open. So let's go back home and then we can change this particular one to mobile basically. And then if you play it, it should work mostly. So see, open, close, open, close. Okay, something's wrong with this spacing here. We'll check it. But you can see that it's working. So this is how you do like in navigation, like your breadcrumb. So let's just go back and fix that. So when you say that you're having issues inside of Framer, um, everybody has issues inside Framer sometimes. So just for you to go around and see what the issue is, and then the issue here is that in this case now, the we set it to, okay, let me see. The stack here is supposed to be filled to fill like the container, like to fill all the spaces actually. Let me see, fill. This one too should be filled. Let's see. Okay, so it should be filled too. So that way it will, okay, parent container spent to fixed. Okay, 373. Okay, okay, let me see. It should be, the width should be fit content. Okay, okay, let's go back and see. All right. So what we can just do is that we can just keep that. What we can just do is we can make the navigation to like cover the entire screen. So like in the case of this particular one here, when you like check, you see that it actually covers like the entire screen. You cannot see anything at the base. And it's good so that users are not also confused when they open navigation. So we can just use that same thing here and then we just go back. And then there are different ways. You can actually just drag here and then align to start. Let me see. What else? What's left? Okay, okay, our spacing on top, it should still be okay. Let's undo. Okay, one way to do it, you can increase the padding at the bottom. So we can just change this one to, let's say like, I don't know, let's say like 200 or something. So that way, okay, 200 may be too small. Let's make it like 600. So that way at least it will cover like the majority of like the screen. So you can see that when we open it, everywhere is covered. So that's how to like go around it. So that's it on working with navigation. Let's just go back. Let's go back to our scheme of. Okay, so we have looked at nested interaction using like states, and we have also explored how to use interactions within component too. We have looked at using state and we have looked at using like components. The next one is like framer fix. And what I did was I was thinking about what we're going to do today, and I there were two options, either to like recreate like a fresh like page, but I felt like that may take more time and because of like limitations. What I did was I remember like I showed us this particular UI kit that is a free resource on Figma community. And what I did was I just wanted to like create this particular section, like this hero section here. So what I did was I tried to copy like the elements that are here and I brought it inside of Framer basically. And that's why I have like a new page here. So what I did was I just colored it around. So I just put it like inside and I going to like we are going to do it together basically. We're going to recreate all of all these. These are all like the individual elements. Some of them are inside like the wrong like stack or like the wrong like positioning. and then we'll just make it to be as clean as what they have here, basically. And one thing is very important. I mentioned earlier that Framer, when we looked at Framer in relation to Figma, I said that Framer is a development tool, like it's focused on development. Framer is not exactly a design tool. And what that means is that the better workflow to using Framer is that you already have your designs inside of Figma. So you design in Figma first, and then you can go to Framer and build inside Framer. That will be very, very easy because that way you don't have to begin to think afresh. So for instance, assuming I was designing for my head, like designing from scratch inside of Framer, I'll be thinking about, okay, what font size, what spacing, what style, what layout will I use? But if I've designed it inside of Figma, it makes it easy because I can see already what I want to like. I can see like the font size, I can see like different, like the layout basically. And then I can see, for instance, they did a responsive design. So you can see how it looks like on mobile. And you can just plug and play. And to even make it better in this case, they are also using a style guide. I also explained how to use a style guide like in our previous lesson. You can also check that out. But in this case, so they also created a style guide. You can see like they have like text styles, they have color styles. I explained how we could also create all of that, like how you can create text style and color style in our previous videos, but they use like different styles. And in that case, now you can see like in this case, this is their H1. And okay, sorry, they call this one, this is like H1, but this is like their, they call it display Excel. This is display extra large and it's semi bold. That's what they are using. So assuming you have like a text style inside of Framer and you create like all of, like you set it up properly, it will make your development very, very easy and very sweet because in fact, once you set it up like from your H1 in Framer and you set up for your small, your medium, and your large devices, automatically once you switch your like your breakpoints, you don't need to change the text automatically to adjust. So that's like the workflow. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to rebuild like this particular like section, although it is scattered inside of Framer, and then we'll just try to rebuild it. One thing you can also see is that if you also like build your or design well inside of Figma, you can see that the concept of boxes or the concept of flexbox is also playing out well here too. As you can see, as I'm selecting things, you can see that they're actually like boxes inside of other boxes. And that's why it was important for us to understand and do the assignment that we first did about Flexbox. You can see here that this is one box, this is another box, this is another box. Inside of this box, there is another box here. Inside of this box, there is another box here. There is one here, there is one here. Even navigation, you can see there is one box here. When you click on it, this is another box. When you click on it, this is another box. This is another box. This is another box. I'm just letting you to know that what we did was not waste of time. Understanding the flex box will be very, very like key to understanding like what we're going to do. So let me just stop here because our time is almost over. Let me just ask. So far, does anybody have like any questions? Like, do you have any questions? Do you understand what I just explained? Not just the assignment, not just sorry, not assignment, not just what I just showed here, but like even the interaction that we showed earlier, like in this first page. Do we understand or do we have like any questions so far?
I understand, but I have a question.
All right.
Okay, so talking about the components, I know on Figma when you design buttons, you could have like icons left and right of the main label. But how do you achieve something like that in Figma? Because I tried creating a button as a component, and then I had an icon on the left and right, but going away from this edit page for the component and going back to the home page, I couldn't manipulate which one I wanted to hide and which one I wanted to be visible. Like it was not allowing me go inside the content of the button. So I was really confused and I decided to just create another variant of it to
That
fix
has
to do what I
a,
want to do.
isn't it? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions? Um, Jeremiah, Kima, do you have any other questions? Like, do you have questions? Aisha, over to your question. How do we like make some part visible and some part like the way you would have it like as a boolean basically in Figma. So basically, I've done it before, but let me just delete and start again. So the first things first, so you select the component like the button, and then we insert like an icon. So insert, and then let's find the icon, and then let's use this phosphor icon. Just drag it inside it. So we'll change the size to 24. Okay, let's say 20, 20, 20, 20. And then we'll duplicate it. Uh, why is it? Come, let me right click. Let's duplicate. Let's command D now. All right, duplicate and then drag one on at the side. So we'd also change the color to like white. So we change it to white. And then what we'll do is that we'll select this particular icon. Under this place that's visible, you can actually add like as a variable basically. So you click on this thing and says create variable. And we will call this one. Oh, I created all these ones before. Let me actually keep it. It's showing me the one I've created before. Let me remove it so we can start from scratch. Okay, so let me create a new variable for this. Click on this visible and then create variable. And then we'll call this one left icon. And then click on it. That's all. Then click out this one. So you call it, create a new variable and call it right icon, just the way you have it in Figma for Boolean. And then what you also want to do is that you also want to add like this name stuff here because normally now if you go back home now and you click on, oh, sorry. We're not done editing this thing. Let's go back. Would make it to be let's add the okay, let me see. It should be the height should be fit. Yeah, let's go back home. Let's see what's wrong here. Okay, the height should be it should be fit content. Yeah. So when you come here now, so you can actually just hide the left icon. Can you see? Or you can show the right icon. So this is how you go. But in this case now, there's something I wanted us to do again. So now you cannot actually edit the icon, like change the icon here. But for instance, in Figma, if you used like create like instance swap, you're supposed to be able to change the icon. So the way to do it in Framer is when you select this particular, we have added like a visibility for the icons. Select the icon again, and then this name part, you create a new variable and call it, let's just say icon name. Okay, let's say left icon name. Left icon, let's just say name. And then for this one, we'll say underneath this name, we'll call it right icon name. And so that when you go back to this home page, you can see that for the left icon now, you can now see like you can change it to anyone, like assuming you know the name of the icon. You can change it to okay, sorry about that. Oh, yeah, okay. So you can change it to anything that you want. Like assuming you know the name, just search for it and then you can change it. And for the right icon, so you can also change it to anything that you want, basically. So that's how you like change like things that icon. And then you can okay, let's make this one search. And let's make it also let's make some search too. Let's see. And add like a name here. Okay, set variable, create variable to okay, so this one is just for us to be able to search. So the other one was like a list. So let's just say left icon search. Let's just see and go back and see what we're trying to do. So basically, you can see that for the left icon now, you can just write something here. You can see because I made it to be search. And then with this X that I wrote here, you can actually like change what is here for the left icon. Or if I make it to be list, for instance, it changes. And then if you want it to do it for the right icon, like same thing to select it. And then underneath this, where is it? Underneath this search, we'll just add like a new like variable here and create the variable and call it right icon search. So this is how you would do it, like assuming you are inside, like, so here now you can now hide which one you want to hide and then you can show it and then you can search for whatever it is that you want to search. So I hope that this answers your question. I hope that answers your question. So let's continue. So yeah, this is where we stopped and we're looking at how to work within Figma to Framer. So mostly, as I said, one of the goals of this particular learning curve is that at the end of this learning curve, we would have to create like a portfolio website that has like our, what's the word? That's like our capstone project, basically, a portfolio website. And the way I would want us to work is that we would have the design inside of Figma, and then we would move it to Framer. And so you'll have design inside of Figma and makes it easy. So let's just start designing. Our time is not too we don't have too much time. But let me just ask so far. Do you understand what we have done so far? Quick feedback. Do you understand what we have done?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now let's just go back to Framer. So basically, what we just need to do is, um, so we can see that this is first inside its own box, and the spacing here is 16. That's what it is. And then the spacing between this one is 24 and then 48. So we have 16, 14, sorry, 16, 24, 48. That's like the first thing. So we'll go to Framer, and then obviously this is even first arranged like differently. So let's move this one off first. So first of all, this one is inside its own stack. So delete, we are going to delete the stack. So the way delete, the shortcut is command or control and delete. We have moved it out of the stack. So because we want to create a new stack, basically, we want to put this one and this one together instead of this one and this one. So select this one and this one and do Alt, Command, and Enter. That's how to create the stack. So yeah, that's create the stack. That's like you right click and say create stack. And then it was 16 that they used. And then we'll now select this particular stack and select this particular text and this particular stack. And then we'll create a new stack for it. So this is the concept of Flexbox. So Alt Command and Enter again. But this one is going to be 24 because that's what they used there. And then the next one is the buttons. So we'll move the buttons up. There's a new stack again. You select this one we just created. Let's just call this one content, and we'll call this one, let's call it button. So select it again, this one and this one, Alt, Command, and Enter. And we're going to use 48 because that's what they used. Oh, sorry, that's 480, 48. So like this now, I've just created like the first section. And then this text size, I check the text size. This one is like 60. It was 60. And then this one is, it was 16, if I'm correct. Let me check. So it was 20 and it was 2 lines. So let's just go back to, let's make this one 20, and then we're going to truncate it. So one way to actually truncate it will be that we can actually use what do you call it? You can add like its own auto layout. That's one. Or we can just use like enter to like shift like the space. So let's look at where the text breaks here. Okay, breaks at engage. So let's come back here. So in engage, you can just click on enter. So this is one way. And then we can make it to be org content or fit content, sorry. And then that way to be responsive. So this one too, we can make it to be fit content for the width, fit content. And then yeah, this works. And then for our button size, the button size they use is quite big. They use 60. So their height is 60, width is 143. So what we can just do is when we go to Framer, we can change our own height from, okay, what we can just do, instead of us to adjust the height actually, we can add the padding. So we can make here to be, let's say, okay, let's check what is on design. So design is actually 16, 16, 28, 28. So I just did, I use all 16, 20, 20, 16. So we can use that exact same like padding inside of, so 16 up, 28, okay, sorry, 28, I think it's 28 up, 28 bottom, and then we'd have like 16 left and 16 right. And then we can just duplicate this button because it's almost the same, just color is changing there. Let's change this color to, okay, let's see their own color actually. Okay, this is the color here. Let's just pick it from this dashboard. Pick this color here. Okay, and then change this one to white. Let's change it to get started. So as I said, it would have been good for us to create like a component with this, but because of time, that's why I'm just keeping all of that so we can actually like achieve like more. If you have used the component, we can just use like different like variants. So this one is like the primary button. For the secondary button, as you can see here, okay, wait. Okay, this is actually okay, depending on how you look at it. But one button is like the field state, and that one has like stroke. So let's just go back to Framer. Okay, let's just leave it like this actually. So because of time. So yeah, we are done with the first part. Then what we can also check is look at the height of this box. So we'll go back to Figma, and the height of this box is actually 312. Yeah, that's like the height. So we'll come back to Framer. Let's see. The height will make it to be a fixed. Okay. Actually, you can just fill the content. It should be 312. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to check the next section, which is the image. So this image is 480 and then the spacing is 64. So we'll just go back to this place. Let's move this one out. Control X. Select this particular okay, desktop and then just put it there. So we'll put it here. For this desktop, let's change the color. The fill color should be white. So we'll move this one down. So the spacing between, so we'll put, so this is like our hero text. This one here is our hero text. Let's just call it hero text. And the next one is this image. So we are going to, we have our hero text and then we'll have to add under like auto layout again. So inside of here, actually we can take out this text here. It's not important. We already have it inside a stack. So we'll move this, we'll just make the padding here to be 64. Sorry, the gap to be 64. And then here, we're actually done. So this is like the first, we have named it well. This is our hero section. This is everything that is here. And then the next section that we're going to have is this section that has like this testimonial. So basically we have like these logos here, and then we have like this text. So this text is, let me see the text size, 16. Let me just copy the text and put it inside of Framer. So okay, that's how I actually had the text before. So let's just this logo like section here, what I'm going to do is what we have here works. Let me see. Okay, no, it doesn't work because all these are not like, they don't have like stacks applied to it. What we'll just do is we'll create a new frame. Let's just create a new frame. Move it down. So this frame, let it stand alone. So it's not going to be under anything. So navigation is here. Then we'll have this frame. Let's put the text here and then just write it here. We're going to, so it's using the previous text size. So we'll just call this one. Let's call it, let's make it 16. Okay, 16. And then what we can just do for this section is we'll go back to our these logos. So normally what we can do is let's make this one to be fill container. Let me see. Fill the container. Oh yeah, another thing that is missing is our padding. So let's go back here. We would notice that, okay, yeah. So as you can see, there's actually a padding here. It's 80. Even this one is 80. If you check this one too, it should be 80. So there's a padding like left and right. So let's go back to Wayma. So it's all these things. You can come back to check it because of time. That's why we're rushing. So we're going to make everything, just make it to be 80. Oh, wow. You don't want 80 from top, just left and right, actually. Right should be 80. Ah, that's 800. 80. Left should be 80. Then this one should actually be filled container. Fill the container. Okay, I'll use section 2. Should fill container. Let me see. Fill the container. What's happening? Something is wrong. Okay. Here is 80. Okay, let me see. What's wrong here? I'm trying to troubleshoot too. So left and right 80. Something is wrong here. Why is this text hiding? This one should be fill container, isn't it? Should fill the container. Fill text. This image too should fill. Okay. It's not in the middle. Okay, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? So yeah, this is just troubleshooting. Sometimes things happen. This text should fill container. But no, I want it to, let me see. Fill. Something is wrong with this text. Go smarter. Why don't we have it more than one line? Let me see. Okay, hero text. Let me see. Fill container. Let's increase the size. Let's make it to be fixed first. 880. Okay, 900. What's it going to be? That's 70. Okay, okay, something is wrong. Let's undo. Based on what they have, let's look at our text size again. Sorry, I'm thinking as I'm designing too. So yeah, let's just rub off ideas. So this one is 60 and then it's semi-bold and then the font is Inter. Let's check. This one should be 60 and then should be semi-bold. Okay. Okay, let's just say semi-bold. Uh Semi-bold. Let's use normal Inter. Let's see. Inter. Semi-bold. Okay, some weird reasons. Let's reduce the text and see. Okay. Okay, let's just leave it like this. If we're going to have it on one straight line, this is the only way we can achieve it. If not, we'll have to extend the box, which will mean that it's going to affect the design basically. Let's see. No, okay, wait, I'm coming. It's actually a bigger issue. So left and right, 80, 80. This box should not. Okay, yeah, I've seen the issue. So I added under padding here, which should not be so. This one should not be 80. Let's just make it should be 0 actually. And this one too should be right and left should be 0. Should be 0. So we can now make this font to be 60 and it should work. Oh wow, that's 600. Sorry. Yeah, this is 60. So this works. So yeah, we have fixed that. So the next one is this. So we already have our frame. We're going to turn it to auto layout by adding like this layout stuff here. So it's already here. And then we have let me see, go back to so let's see, we have 96, 96, 80, 80. So let's just make it 96. Let me see. Let's go back. 96. The spacing here is 96. So under this stack, we're going to use 96 up, 96. Oh, sorry. That should be top. We should have 0 here. 96 and then 96. Okay, 96 bottom. Oh, it's not showing what we have here. Let's check our desktop. It should not be fixed. It should be okay. So we're going to let me see. It's already layout. Width is fixed. Shouldn't be fixed. Let me see what's happening. Okay, yeah. Oh no, this one should be fit content actually. Okay, so it's 90, 90. Okay. Sorry, 96 top and 96 bottom. That's not what we did. Okay. 0 left, 0 right. All right. So we have this already. The next one we're going to have is the logo. So the way I want us to do the logo is we add like a bit of interaction to it. So let's just bring all this out. We're going to use a ticker. So part of things I mentioned we're going to learn. So when we just under this insert, or you can use like Command and K to show like this search bar, and we're going to search for a ticker. It's part of the things that oh, why is it not showing? Let me see ticker. Okay, let's go to insert. It should show insert and then creative. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this sticker. So we're going to bring this particular element here and we'll see what it does in a bit. Let's just wait for it. Uh, okay, where's our ticker? Coming. I want to add like a bit of interaction to the logo, but okay, yes. So this is a ticker, and then let's just arrange it top, bottom. What's the spacing that they use between the elements? Let's go back to Figma. So let's see, that's 32, and then 32, and then this was inside its own stack. So let's go back here. We're going to put this inside the stack. Just give me a bit. Okay, let's just bring out these logos actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then delete. So connect these stickers to this place, and then we can see that it's actually already showing 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to make it to be no, shouldn't be like this. Let's see the height. Okay, ticker. Let's see, should be fit content, not be fixed height. Okay, no. Let me see. Width. Okay. Come, something is wrong here. This ticker should not be as large as this actually. Should be able to fit content. Let me see what's happening. The spacing is wrong. It's no fit content. Let's see. Why is it not fitting content? What's happening? I'm trying to troubleshoot. Or let's see what's auto stretch. Oh no, auto. Not the sizing. What's wrong? The clipping.
I
Okay.
also faced this issue while trying to
What
use
is it?
it. At the end of it, I just made it fit. I made the size fit.
Okay. I'm trying to troubleshoot. That's where the height. Okay, let's make it fixed and see. It should actually work without being fixed. But let's go back to frame Figma to see. Okay, the size is 48. So let's go back to frame. 48. Okay, wow. This actually works. Fit content actually. So the spacing here we've put like its own stack. It was 20. I'm sorry, it was 32. Let's go back here and make it 32. Okay, this should be 32. Let's see. 32. And then let's take out this. our, let me see, something is wrong with our top and bottom should not be, let's check. Like this, it should be 96, 96. Okay, let's check back. So that's why it's better for you to actually have a design inside of. Okay, let me see what's wrong here. This tag and this sticker is inside this particular frame, which is inside. Um, Let me see, something is wrong. Okay, okay, this should actually be in its own frame. So Alt Command Enter. All right, okay, that solves it. And then we can now, let me see, how many is it showing? Uh, let's drag it a little bit. Should show more than, okay, let me see, should show more than one. Okay, I think it's okay like this. And then we can change the color of this place to, let's change it to, there's no color, it's just white actually. So let me see what else is missing. Okay, yeah, this place does not have a button padding. Yes, it should not have a button padding. And this one, so let's go back to our, so I think we are good to go 32, 96. Then this was 90, okay, 96 too. Let me see, 96, 96. We're actually good to go. So we are done. So this particular element we just introduced is a ticker. And if we try to like play the website, you see that this is already moving, like it's moving. So we can just edit all this, like the speed. But let's just go back. So just come back to this particular ticker. We'll change the speed to like, let's say 50%, 50%. And then for the children, okay, so all the children that are there that we reference, basically all these logos. Let's see how the speed is now. So that it has reduced. So it has reduced, and that's good. What we can also do is we can actually change the spacing. We can make it to be like 24. Sorry, that is the gap instead, 24. Oh, sorry, that's 124. Okay, that's 24. Let me see what again. So on over, we can slow down the speed by like half. Like when you over on it. So when you can see now as it's moving, if I click over on it, it has reduced by half the speed. So that's like the hero section, and we are done. Let's quickly do like, oh sorry, let's quickly do the navigation. For the navigation, we have the logo here and we have all this. So let's just fix like up with what we have here. We're just going to just use, okay, so let's just change this one to home, about, and resources. Let's leave it like this. Let's delete this ones beside it. It's not important. Oh, actually, you can actually, okay, let's leave it. Let's use this one instead. Okay, no, let's delete it. All right, let's delete this one too. Home, about, and resources. Let's delete it. So what we're going to do is we already have the logo. Let's assume this is still the logo. Or okay, we can actually just pick one logo from here actually. Let me just pick this random logo. Control C and then put it inside here and Control V. So we're going to use one as the logo, delete this one. Let's take out the background color to be white. Oh, sorry, that will hide some things. Okay, let's first change this one to black first so we can see what we're doing. Shift, select, and change this one to black. Okay, so we can now change this one to white now so that we can. All right, so this is white. So we have our logo. The next thing is we have to put all these things. Let me see the stack. The spacing here is too much. Oh, this gap, let's make it like 24 actually. And then we have to put this one and this one inside its own, this stack, and then this one inside its own stack. That's Alt Command Enter. And would make the spacing to be 24. Let's say 24. What's happening? Let me see. Everything here should be inside. Okay, wait. Oh, okay, okay, made a mistake. All right, so we made a mistake. So this one and this one should actually be in its own navigation here. So that way we can have it to the stats and we can make it to be 24. But let's see what they use there actually. Okay, that's 32, 32, 40. All right, so let's go back here. So the spacing here is 40 actually. And then the spacing within this one, that's why it's good to have like our stack, that's 32. And so we are done. It means our button that we put here. So we can just copy this button actually and then just place it here because it should work. And then we can delete this one here actually. But let's see, what did they have here? How big is their own button? Let's just confirm. So this is just to help. Oh, there's not even a button. All right, let's just reduce the button side. So the reason why I'm doing all this is because I expect that when we're working on our capstone project, you'll have designed in Figma. So this is how like you plug and play basically, like from Figma to Figma, just to help us when we take on like our next project or like our subsequent project. Let's make this one to be 44. What's happening? The height 44. Okay, let's make it to be 44. What's happening? Why is it not adjusting? Okay. Oh, okay. We'll change it by making this one 18. Oh, sorry. Instead of 20, let's make it 14. Let's make this one 14. Okay, so that works. So I think that we are done. Yeah, we are done with like this particular design. So any questions so far? Does anybody have any questions? We're not going to do responsive part because of time, but we have looked at responsiveness too. It's just for us to create like different breakpoints and begin to adjust like the text and then really just finish up. But does anybody have any questions so far? Let's look at what we're supposed to learn. We have looked at. Okay. Yeah, does somebody have any questions so far? Do you understand? Uh,
Yes. No
okay.
questions, rather.
All right. Okay, so we have looked at Tika. Let's just look at slideshow and overlay, and then we'll just call it a wrap, and then we can close. So you can create another section here. Let's just duplicate. Okay, this EO section. Let's duplicate it and bring it down. So when you come to insert, so there are different things that you can actually like insert. So I know we didn't really look here, like, but you can just explore basically. As I said, you can insert like different pages. So assuming you want to do like a different page, not a section, and you don't start from scratch, you can use like templates within Framer. All these are templates within Framer: pages, sections, navigation, menu. You can assume you don't want to start from scratch. But this is like the lazy way, but you can actually use it if you have like you don't have time. And then this is CMS. We'll look at CMS like later on when we look at like blogs and other things. And then under element, there are things that you can also like input. So for the person that was asking about form, you can actually like input like forms from here and you can try them out to see like how like differ from each other. You can input icons too. We have done like lots of icons. Also for media too, you can insert like images, video, YouTube, GIFs, and different things basically. I guess this was how like Kima did like the GIF that she put. So you can just insert it here actually. And also, okay, interactive elements too. We'll just come here. So we have looked at ticker. So this is ticker. So those places where you see like those logo clouds and they are moving, they usually use like tickers. The next one is like slideshow and then carousel. So we'll just import it into here. And then let's just wait for it to show. Okay, let's just call it play section. Okay, so the way most of these things work, like for instance, this slideshow, we must actually like have images we want to reference. So as you can see for the ticker, I had to reference something externally. So in case you want to have like a slideshow, like you want to show different, okay, let's just use like this particular ones. As you can see, as I'm referencing, okay, oh no, let me see. Why is it? Let me see. Hope it's not selecting all of them. I would command and delete. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. So I wanted to reference like individual like elements, not the entire frame. So let's just pick one. Oh, wow. Okay. It has scattered it. Let me see. It has to be a frame. Let me see the frame. All right. So reference this one. Wow, it's referencing the entire frame. Let me undo. It would have been nice. Let me just go to free pick and find like an image actually. We just need like a test or a dummy image. Let me check here. Assignment. Let me just pick from the images that we have used before. Let me just copy this one. Copy as PNG actually. And then go to, but when you have like elements that you want to, oh, wow. Why is it not copy? Let's go back to Figma. I want to copy this particular. Our time is almost over, but I'll just round up. But just copy as PNG and then let's come back to Framer and then just paste here. It's taking a lot of time to paste. Why is it taking time to paste? Let me see. I don't know why it's taking time to paste, but basically when you put like the element, okay, it's uploading. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So for instance, I want to reference this one. Just select this one, and you can see. So assuming we had like three different types of this like images or three different images, although obviously they're the same, but you can just see how like it generally works. And then when you play this particular like page and then you scroll down, you can just move between images because they're the same thing. That's why. So you can see this is how like a slideshow works. You can just move within them, and then you can tweak like their settings basically like to when you select this particular one, you can tweak it. You can see the direction, left to right, or if you want it to, depending on direction, you can change direction. Either you want it to go like up and down, like move it up and down, and you can see like this stuff has changed. And then you can change like the speed, you can change the, you can also make it draggable. Like if, for instance, not just clicking, you want them to read like the way you slide on Instagram, or you can like drag to, and then you can move. You can see that the cursor is adjusting. I'm not just clicking. So that's like slideshow. Let me just insert like the other one. Let's go to interactive again. Let's do carousel. That like they work almost like very similarly. And then okay, it's inserting. So for carousel too, like similar stuff. I'm just trying to reference something. Let me just reference, although they are the same. So we can just try it and see how it works, like basically. We don't have like too much time. So carousel, as I said, is also similar. When we play, let's play and see how it comes out. This next one is a carousel, and you can see oh wow, these images are not okay. These images are they are too big. But basically, let's make it to fit content. Let's see. Wow, that's too large. Okay, yeah. So now we can see like the carousel is similar actually. So let's just play, and then we can just move like within like similar like use cases. As you can see, this is similar to like the way Instagram is, and then they are similar to like carousels too, and they're similar to like slideshows. Although you can see that there are minor differences. This one has like these tabs that you can actually like check, but this one is just like moving like within images basically. So I think that's just it. We'll just stop here because of our time. We have like less than 10 minutes more. So I'll just ask like so far, does anybody have any question before we go to like the assignment? I think I've covered like the majority. I've covered overlay, ticker, slideshow. We can explore all of all this in like more detail. I'm just trying to save time basically. That's why. So, does anybody have any questions so far? Like what we have looked at so far? Nobody saying anything. Do we understand or do we have questions? Sorry, I had to skip
Yeah,
like
nah.
cut of time. Ikma, Jeremiah, do you have any questions or you understand? Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I assume that your silence means that you understand. Okay, yes. So, over to the assignment for this week. So, we are going to be having like a new assignment. This time around, we are going to work on hero section, navigation section, another section. Like we had like two sections apart from the navigation last week. We're going to do three sections this time around. Oh, yeah, sorry, that will be no, not three, that will be four. So we'll have the hero section, we'll have the navigation, we'll have a second section, like after the hero section, let's say like a logo cloud, like I just done. And we can also have like another section, let's say like a benefit section. So we should understand what I mean by all these things, like a benefit section, a maybe about us or something like that. A benefits about us, and then you can have logo cloud. But I want us to have at least three sections minus the navigation for something else, a different kind of website. So you can look for any other website, any other concept, and you can also use any of the interactions that we have learned, and then you can make it responsive. That it should be responsive both like on tablet and then on mobile, tablet, and desktop. And then you would have like four sections in total: navigation, hero section, and that section that can be like, let's say, about us. You can have like a logo cloud, like what I just showed there, and then you can have like a benefit section.